What's up, party people? This is Jose Heredia with the CrossFitters Show, standing to a DJ legend. I don't need a bio for him. His work speaks for itself. Renowned DJ Z Trip. And how you doing, Z Trip?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Sorry it took a second to make it happen.
Yeah, so tell us about this new mixer, and not only the new mixer, but your name is on it.
Yeah, well, I'm stoked because for years I've always wanted to design a mixer. I mean, I think it's every DJ's dream to want to design a mixer. And I've been using Rane's mixers for years, and I love them. And I've always seen little bits and pieces from other different mixers or other different, even the mixers that they make themselves, and I've been like, they're just not all in one box, you know? So I finally decided to sit down with them and really give them a lot of input. They took input from other DJs, but we all sort of accumulated into this mixer, which is a 62. It's kind of like, if you know your Rane mixers, to me it's more like a hybrid of the 68 and the 57, which both had great features, but they never lived in the same spot. So to actually be able to work on this and have all the bells and whistles that I want in a mixer, and also have my name on it, is like, you know, a dream come true.
And what's your favorite feature that you're excited about that you would like to share?
Well, there's a couple. Right off the bat, the first thing that I love about this one that they did on the others, on the 68s, but they didn't do on this, or on the 57s, was it has 2 USB ins. So if you're sharing music with other DJs, which is what we used to do all the time, like you have one setup and you have one mixer, you could have, you know, back in the day, I'd have my crates, you'd have your crates, and we'd go record for record, and it would make the party that much more interesting, and there's all sorts of room for improvisation. Now you can set up 2 computers, and you know, you just put your laptop in, I plug my laptop in, and we can just go song for song off of 2 computers, which is really important for having a, you know, instead of having to try and find that one piece of vinyl or that CD and having a CDJ just sit in the corner for just transitions, now you can just do it all in one mixer, so I love that. Also, the effects are much more hands-on, much better. I've always rolled with a Pioneer FX 1000 because I loved the outboard effects, and I could manipulate them way better than I could any of the internal effects on the 57. Now we've really revamped the whole effects on this and made it that much more user-friendly, so I can mix with the effects in a hurry and not have to bring another piece of gear with me. Again, trying to solidify it to just one mixer and be out. The cue points are much easier. Before, they were little tiny buttons on the 57, and on the 68 they were big, but they didn't have the right feel. We got the right feel on the buttons. You can also now, if you see, you can go between cues and samples, so you don't really have to touch your computer anymore. It's really about just staying on the mixer and on the turntables, which is where I want to be. I'm not really trying to always scroll and do everything. So there's and those are just a couple of things. There's mic talkovers. There's new things with loops that you can do. All sorts of aux ins and aux outs, way different ways to control all sorts of features on it. So it's an awesome mixer, man. I love it.
I have a question for you. On the 68, you mentioned that you could have 2 different DJs, right? 2 laptops. On the 68, you have 4 faders. On this, you have 2. How do you transition? I mean, on the other one, you have like 1, 2 decks, 3, and 4.
That's a great question. If you can see up here, there's 2. There's an orange and a green USB in, and so there's basically 2 USB in. If I go to the B, then this turntable is on this computer. If I go over to the green one, then this turntable is on that computer.
I see.
So you're basically just swapping. Like it's like handing the baton back and forth.
As long as you got one fader going on one DJ, the other one takes over the other.
That's it. I mean, you could have one DJ on each fader, like we used to do back in the day. One guy rocks a beat, one guy scratches, and then if I want to take it over, I just switch it over. And also you have aux in, so you have different ways to like implement other pieces of gear. Yeah. So I mean, to me, you know, I always would love to have had a 3rd fader, but you can really, at this point, you can kind of just bring it in. You got sample players, you got 4 banks of that, so if there's a transition thing you want to do, you don't necessarily need to lug a 3rd interface along to fire that off. There's plenty of sample room.
I love the feel because I have a 68 and just the cue buttons feels better.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, that was sort of the whole thing. It's like, because I used to roll with the Dicers after a while, and I love those. I think they're great. And now you can even do both if you want, but again, keeping it all here versus here, you know? Exactly. If you want to do any sort of turning on off your loop, you can do it here now. You can do loop rolls here. You can scroll through loops, which I sometimes like to put 3 loops on a track and bounce around them. And before I would have to like go in and manually click onto loop 2 and manually click onto loop 3. Now you just scroll through it, engage it. It's just much easier. It's all here, you know, so you don't have to deal with. You can just turn your computer on. You can scroll everything.
You have all your effects buttons right here.
Yeah, everything.
Before on the 57, you had to scroll through menus.
You had to scroll through menus. None of that. It's way easier. You just jump right in. And you know, you have the depth on it. You have new filters that are in and out, so you can actually do filter sweeps on tracks, which is something that, you know, I always loved that the Pioneer had as a mixer. I thought that, you know, it was always a good mixer, and I loved that, but I never liked the faders on the Pioneer. And so again, having the right faders, having the right effects, filter sweeps, effects. There's a mic over if you want to do a 15 dB drop. If you just want to say something real quick instead of having to like turn the mic on and trying to find the happy medium, it's like you hit this, it just drops everything down 15 dB. You can say what you gotta say, hit it back on, and you're back where you were. Definitely, man.
Z-Trip, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys. Z-Trip,
thank you.
This is it, the new Rane 62Z for Z-Trip, and also check out the other 2 brand new mixers, the 62 and the 58. Excellent. A lot of numbers, exactly.
Oh my God, here we go again. In position from the beginning, you listen to the brother with the description, poetic pulp fiction, spitting a killer rendition, turning citizens to victims with the right ambition and vocabulary diction. Cause I can specify.
What's up? This is Z-Trip, and you're watching the Crossfader Show.
I still couldn't get it if I slowed down to say just stop and listen to the DJ.